Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Department of Civil Engineering, Construction Materials. It is Module 3 and Session 1. It is about the constituents and uses of plaster of Paris, contents, introduction, types, constituents of POP and uses of POP or plaster of Paris. Then we are discussing the MCQs. The plaster of Paris. It is a white fine powder obtained from calcining gypsum. It consisting of calcium sulfate, hemihydrate, that is SO4.5 H2O, half molecule of water, that is 0.5 H2O, which is heated to a temperature of 150 degrees centigrade, which when hardens when moistened, allowed to dry. Upon the addition of water, Portland plaster of Paris, that is POP, becomes regular gypsum again, causing resultant material to harden. This hardening material can be molded. It can be used to create the molds for casting in construction. It is a building material used as a base for gypsum plasters as an additive of lime plaster. Plaster of Paris, it generally do not shrink or crack when dry. It forms a quick setting paste and make excellent medium for casting them out. They are commonly used for protecting or decorative coating of walls and ceilings and for molding and casting decorative elements. The plaster of Paris is so called because of its preparation from abundant gypsum that is found near the Paris. This plaster of Paris is also short form, it is POP. The constituents of plaster of Paris. The plaster of Paris is prepared by heating the gypsum, that is CaSO4 to H2O, at a temperature of 373 Kelvin in a kiln. Chemical name of gypsum is calcium sulfate dihydride, which means the molecule of gypsum is in fact molecule of calcium sulfate, which contains two molecules of water of crystallization. So it is CaSO4 2 times 2H2O. When gypsum is heated, it loses one and a half molecules of water crystallization, leaving only half molecule of water of crystallization remaining attached with calcium sulfate. So CaSO4 to H2O is when heated to a temperature not more than 373 Kelvin. It is converted into CaSO4 half, that is 0.5 H2O, that is we call this as a hemihydrate, calcium sulfate hemihydrate, and this is a plaster of Paris. And the other one and half molecule of water can be eliminated. If the gypsum is heated behind a temperature of 373 Kelvin, all the water crystallization is removed from it and the results in anhydrous calcium sulfate. Anhydrous calcium sulfate, that is COSO4, CaSO4 to H2O is converted into CaSO4 calcium sulfate and two molecules of water, that is 2H2O. So we call this as a dead burnt plaster. The disadvantage of this dead burnt plaster is that it does not work see like plaster of Paris after adding water to it. This is the constituents of POP. Then the plaster is manufactured as a dry powder and is mixed with the water to form a stiff but workable paste immediately before it is applied to the surface. The reaction with water reveals heat through crystallization and hydrated plaster hardens. So the types of plasters powder may be classified as a gypsum, lime or cement and works in the similar way. The plaster is classified as gypsum, mainly classified as a gypsum plaster, lime plaster and cement plaster. Gypsum plaster. The gypsum powder or the plaster of POP consists of white powder, that is gypsum plaster. Gypsum is a crystalline mineral of dihydrated calcium sulfate, as we have told earlier. It is a colorless white and is not highly water soluble and not at all hard. This is produced by heating gypsum to a temperature of 300 degree Fahrenheit and also heated above this 392 degree Fahrenheit, it turns it into anhydride. When you mix the water with the gypsum plaster powder or anhydride, it turns into a gypsum. The gypsum plaster, it does not shrink during drying and hardening process unlike the cement plaster. It is quick, it sets quickly and dries quickly. It is less prone to cracks. The gypsum is not combustible and it contains high content of crystalline water. So since hence it is a fire resistant. It acts like a barrier and protects the black work, concrete works and steel works. The picture shows the gypsum. The gypsum plaster. After discussing the gypsum plaster, the next classification of plaster is a lime plaster. The lime plaster is obtained from, it is a mixture of calcium hydroxide and sand. The sand is here, the sand is used as an inert filler. The calcium dioxide that from the atmosphere, the calcium carbon dioxide converts the calcium hydroxide into calcium carbonate, and that is limestone. Calcium carbonate is limestone. To make the lime plaster, that is the limestone, is heated to approximately to a temperature of 1850 degrees centigrade and produces a quick lime, that is calcium oxide. When it is added to produce this lime, when it is sold, and it is sold as a white putty or white powder. The plaster, the lime plaster, when it is to the powder, when your water is added, it forms a paste. The paste may be stored in airtight containers. When exposed to atmosphere, calcium hydroxide slowly turns back into calcium carbonate. Through reaction, the atmospheric carbon dioxide causing the plaster to increase its strength can be increased by this. The lime plaster is sufficiently durable, resistant to elements used for exterior plastering. It is less brittle, less prone to cracking, and requires no expansion joint. So these are the advantages of lime plaster. The next classification of plaster is a cement plaster. This we have come across commonly. So this cement plaster, it is a mixture of Portland cement, sand, and water. It is applied along with the suitable plaster, which is applied to a measured interiors and exteriors to achieve a smooth surface finish. The advantages of cement plaster is that it increases the strength, hardness, and it is quick setting time, durability, and it is workability can also be increased by adding the air mixtures. It is workable, easy to work with the lime plaster, easy to apply, durable, quick setting, hardness, and strength can be induced in this. And mainly it is also fire resistant compared with the other plasters. It offers great resistance to moisture also than compared with the gypsum plaster. The advantage of this cement plaster includes utility. Relatively, it is of low cost and minimum need for the maintenance requires minimum needs, so it can be economical, you can say. This is the picture shows the gypsum plaster walls, then the lime plaster, applying the lime plaster, and the last part shows the dark one, that is a cement plaster surfaces. The advantages of POP, it does not shrink when setting, thus avoids cracks, it is durable and light, it combines well with the paint and helps in the decoration of walls. It is easily workable as it mixes with the water. It has high resistance to heat and it can be made up of insulating materials. It has a low thermal conductivity. It can be molded into any shapes, various shapes. It can help provide a choice of smooth and hard surface finish. It also sticks well to the fibrous surfaces. It does not interact chemically with the paint and prevents alkali attack. Its gypsum content provides smoothness and shine. The works for the making POP cross sealing tunnels. This can be the advantages of POP. The uses of plaster of Paris. As we have discussed, the user it has a very numerous uses in the engineering purpose. Apart from the engineering purpose, also in the field of it gives a major role in the field of construction. These POPs can be used in the constructions in the buildings, for it is used for making the surfaces like the walls of the houses smooth before painting them. It is used to fill the gaps, cracks, and walls. It is also used as a fireproofing material. So here we are showing the plaster applying for the ceiling and walls, and also the murals done with the plaster of Paris (POP) in the buildings. For making the ornamental designs on ceilings of houses and other buildings, ceilings of the houses, especially for the public buildings, restaurants, or residential buildings, or any other buildings that needs to be decorated. So that is that done by using the false ceiling. The decorative applications, it can be easily applied to decorative purposes, as shown in the sketch. It can be molded into different shapes and used for making the casts and statues. So you are able to see the other two pictures with the statues. It is used in making the casts and statues. Gypsum, it has a good insulation properties against both thermal and acoustic. It is used in chemistry labs for sealing air gaps in appurtenances, and airtight arrangements is required. So this is the statues, and it also applied in the sketch showing it in the bathrooms. The plaster of Paris is used in hospitals for setting fractured bones, that is shown in the sketch, and it is also because of its setting into hard mass. This is an advantage. It is used by the dentist in making the dentures. It is used for making the toys, utensils. Then it is a cheap ornamental cosmetics, black modes, chalks, etc. And also it is used for 3D printing. Also in galleries, it is used in galleries. That is the gallery sketch is also the picture of showing the gallery is also seen. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ plaster of Paris ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It is a white powder obtained from calcined gypsum ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. So it consists of ಹೆಮಿಹೈಡ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಹೆಮಿಹೈಡ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಹೆಮಿಹೈಡ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಇದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ COSO4 ಜೊತೆ ಹೆಮಿಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 0.5 times half molecule of water ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ವೆನ್ heated to a temperature of 150 centigrade degree centigrade heat ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ powder then it is mixed with the water, it forms a paste, and this can be easily molded, can be easily applied. So gypsum is the main part of the POP. Then the other classification of POP, the constituents of POP ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so this gypsum POP because of its it is abundantly available, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ POP ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. It is from the Paris, obtained easily from the Paris. Gypsum ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ CaSO4 2 times H2O. So when it is heated 373 Kelvin heat ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ ಎ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬಿಲೋ 373 ಅಥವಾ 373 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ಗೆ it is converted into calcium sulfate and point half molecule of water, and the other 1.5 molecule of water is separated, crystallization ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ calcium sulfate with half H2O ಏನಿದೆ CaSO4 with half H2O, we call this as a plaster of Paris. When it is heated, ಅದನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 373 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು? So it converts into dead plaster, dead burnt plaster. A dead burnt plaster ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ CaSO4 2H2O, whatever we have with gypsum, it is overheating above this 373 ಆದಾಗ calcium sulfate, anhydride calcium sulfate form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That it shows it doesn't contain any water molecules here. The two molecules of water is crystallized. Here it is separated. So this we call it as a dead burnt plaster. A dead burnt plaster, it is not useful as that of your POP. The types of plasters can be classified. Plaster ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is powder form ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, it forms a paste, and it separates heat during the crystallization, and whereby crystallization heat vibrate ಆದಾಗ it helps in setting and hardness form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಿಪ್ಸಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್, ಲೈಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಜಿಪ್ಸಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಇದು CaSO4 2 times ದಿ ಡೈಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್, ಡೈಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ CaSO4 2 times H2O ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜಿಪ್ಸಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್. ಈ ಜಿಪ್ಸಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ when it is heated it forms an anhydride ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈ ಜಿಪ್ಸಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಕ್, ಡ್ರೈ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Then it is the setting and hardening is quick. It is not prone to cracks form ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So the fire resistance ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. It is non combustible also. And during since it is fire resistance, it acts like a barrier. ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ? Block works, the cement blocks what we are using in the construction, concrete and steel. ಲೈಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್, ಲೈಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಲೈಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಕಾರ್ಬೋನೇಟ್ ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಇದನ್ನ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಕಾರ್ಬೋನೇಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ಟೋನ್. ವೆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಇಸ್ heated to a temperature of 850 degrees centigrade, heat ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ added to form a slate line. So ಇದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು it can be applied as a putty ಅಥವಾ white powder. Lime plaster when it is added with the water, it forms the reaction takes place and it is either the lime plaster advantage ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is sufficiently durable resistant to elements like exterior painting ಗೆ this is suitable ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Then gypsum plaster actually interior we go for the interior surfaces. The lime plaster can be useful for the exterior plastering. It is less brittle and less prone to cracking, and it requires no expansion joints. This is the advantage of the lime plaster ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. Cement plaster ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? It is a combination of plaster, maybe plaster, cement, sand, Portland sand, and Portland cement and sand. It is a Portland cement and sand combination with it. With this, we are going to add the water solid and applying the exterior and interior to achieve the smooth surface. The advantage of this is it gives the strength, hardness, quick setting time, durability, and workability and by adding the admixtures and fire resistance. It is advantage and the utility relatively low cost and minimum maintenance minimum in the cement plastering. So this is an advantage of this. The wall shows the first wall has the picture paint contour. This is a gypsum wall and one which is preparing is a lime plaster, that is a gypsum plaster, and ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕೆಚಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಏನು ವಾಲ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದು ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸೊ ಫಾರ್. ಸೊ ದ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ POP ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ದ ಯೂಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಏನು ಯೂಸು ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾಗೋದು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಸನರಿ ವರ್ಕ್ಸು ಅದರ್ ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ಸ್, ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಕೋರೇಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ನ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸಿಂಗ್. ದಿಸ್ POP ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ವಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್. ಲೈಕ್ ವಾಲ್ ಮ್ಯೂರಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಫ್ಲಶ್ ಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ ಸೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Then the plastering is done smooth ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡ you can do the architectural work, sculptures ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೀಲಿಂಗು ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿ ಡೆಕೋರೇಟಿವ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಸೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದೆನ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚೂಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಇನ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಲ್ಯಾಬೋರೇಟರೀಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸುಲೇಷನ್. ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಬೋನ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇವನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೆಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಸ್ as a denture. Apart from that, toys and utensils, so then you can make the beautiful ornamental things, the sacks and the powder are obtained from this. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ 3D ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗ್ಸು ಗ್ಯಾಲರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ POP ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಎ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಫ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್ POP, ಯಾವ ಥರ POP ಇದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ POP ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗೋ. We have seen the video. Next, we'll move on to the MCQs. The plaster of Paris is obtained by heating gypsum, magnesium, softwood, heat resistant plaster. So the answer is gypsum. The plaster of Paris is prepared by heating gypsum at a temperature of 528 Kelvin, 223, 473, 373. It is 373 Kelvin. The raw material used in cement plaster is silt, clay, sand, none. So it is a sand. The gypsum plaster has good insulation property, fire resistance, impact resistance, all the above. So answer is all the above. The types of plaster of Paris: gypsum plaster, lime plaster, cement plaster. It is all the above. The lime plaster is a mixture of calcium hydroxide and sand, cement and sand, calcium hydroxide and cement, clay and sand. So it is a calcium hydroxide and sand. It is used as the sand is used as a filler here material. The curing of concrete not required for cement plaster, gypsum plaster, lime plaster, heat resistant plaster. So it is not required for gypsum plaster. The thickness of plaster of Paris is about 0.5 inch, 1 2 inch, 1 inch and 1.5 inch. It is 1 inch. The average setting time of POP is about 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes. It is 5 minutes. Which is not true about POP, which is not true about plaster of Paris. It provides a smooth surface finish. It is of lightweight, easily workable. It has high thermal conductivity. No, it is having a very low thermal conductivity. So the answer is D. Thank you.